What's going on, everyone? It's Bales, and welcome back to another UFC preview. UFC 287 we've got tomorrow. Can't wait for this. It's in Miami. First time in 20 years it's been in Miami. So really looking forward to especially that main event, which we'll get into. But let's get through the main card and who I think will win in the 5 fights. So first fight on the main card of the 5 is Raul Rosas Jr. up against Christian Rodriguez. Raul Rosas Jr.'s looked obviously amazing to start his UFC career, hasn't he? And Christian Rodriguez is a tough test for him. He's 8-1. They're both got good records. Raul Rosas Jr. 7-0. So there's a fair bit to play out here. I'm very interested to see who wins this. I think I've got to back in Raul Rosas Jr. though. It's just probably more the hype than anything. In terms of the odds and stuff like that, Raul Rosas Jr. is the favourite. I'm just getting the odds up here for us. Sorry, I should have had this open before we did this. As this loads. Okay, hang on. So, apologies about this. UFC 287, there it is. Okay, so the odds for this one is Raul Rosas Jr. $1.39, Christian Rodriguez $2.94. So, we'll be interesting to see who gets the job done. I will back Raul Rosas Jr. as the favourite, and just probably I know a bit more about him, I guess. Kevin Holland and Santiago Ponzinibbio. This is a bit of an interesting one as well. So Santiago Ponzinibbio has been on. I remember before I started following UFC, he was a lot of talk, and then obviously he was out for a while, and he's come back and hasn't looked incredible. But I think he got a win in his last fight, so it will be interesting. And Kevin Holland as well. Take away that Khamzat Chimaev fight, he's been doing pretty well. So I think I've still got to back in Kevin Holland. I think he's got a more well-rounded game. But I wouldn't be surprised if Santiago Ponzinibbio can pull something out. So it will be interesting. It's a very interesting fight, but I'll back Kevin Holland for that one. Rob Font and Adrian Yanez is going to be really, really good. I think it's got Fire the Night written all over it. Rob Font, veteran of the game, and he's one of those good bantamweights that can go up against really anyone in the division. And Adrian Yanez has obviously got the hype as well, but he looks fantastic. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and he doesn't need it because he's striking so good. So it's such a tough fight to call, because I've seen Rob Font against some difficult opponents and he's looked good, whereas Adrian Yanez I haven't, but he just looks incredible. So I think I'm going to back the favourite again. I've gone all the favourites so far. I think I'm going to back him in. He's looked too good in his last few fights. I can't really go past it, even though Rob Font is going to be a tough test for him. If Adrian Yanez can get this done, it puts him right up the top 5-ish guys in the bantamweight division, which would be good to see if he can get it done. On to the co-main event, Gilbert Burns and Jorge Masvidal. Obviously, Jorge Masvidal fighting in front of his home crowd. It's in terms of the odds, it's really in favour of Gilbert Burns, $1.18, and Jorge Masvidal is $4.70. So it's fairly obviously one side in terms of betting. So it'll be interesting to see if Jorge can pull anything out. We know this. He can pull a shot out of nowhere and finish the fight. But Gilbert, for me, he's one of those guys. If it wasn't for Kamaru Usman, he'd be right up there in terms of either champion or one of the top 2 guys in the division, because he's just so good. He's obviously amazing on the ground and with his all jiu-jitsu and stuff and wrestling, but he's got incredible power, and he can finish the fight in any way at any time. So I just think with the more well-rounded game, I've got to go and back in Durinho Burns in this one. But as I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Jorge Masvidal gets something done in this fight. So it'll be interesting to see. But I've got Gilbert in that one. And then for the main event, Alex Pereira and Israel Adesanya, as it's meant to say. I always thought it was Adesanya, but there you go. $1.72 Israel, and then $2.10 Alex Pereira. So as we saw in the first fight, Izzy was pretty much dominating most of it. But that leg kick in round 1, I believe it was, that hampered Israel's knee and on the perennial nerve, I think, on the outside of the knee, meant his movement wasn't great. And then that's when Alex got him in the last round, was able to sort of trap him and laid some big shots. So Alex has got the wood over him now. They've fought 3 times, twice in kickboxing, once in MMA. Alex Pereira's got it done in all 3 fights. And again, regardless, I know that Israel's probably won most of the fights except the actual decision. He dominated a lot of the rounds. He's got the points in the rounds. So the first fight was close. A lot of people did say Israel won that fight, and then the second fight Israel was comfortably winning, but then Alex Pereira finished the fight. And then the same with the fight in the UFC, the last one, where Israel was winning the fight, Alex came over and finished it. But Alex is a scary man. He's he's just got incredible power. And again, he can be down 4 rounds to nothing, and in the final round he can find something out of nowhere and connect and finish the fight. So I'm backing my guy in. I'm backing Israel Adesanya in to get it done. I think he will finally get it done over the boogeyman for him in the UFC. But it will be very interesting. If Israel loses, it's going to be interesting what happens for him after this. Does he go up to like heavyweight? Does he retire? I don't know. Like he said, he's not going to be in the game for another 5 years. So I don't know. It'd be interesting. But I'm hoping he gets the job done. That's worst case scenario if he loses. And then if Alex Pereira loses, again, he can go up to light heavyweight. But if he wins, then it opens up so many fights. Robert Whittaker, Paulo Costa, all these guys are going to be able to have a go at Alex Pereira. So it's going to be interesting what way it goes. The middleweight division will certainly move whatever happens with this fight. So they're my picks. I've picked all the favourites. But I do think the favourites will get it done in this one. But again, I think in any of these fights, anyone can win at any given moment. And that's what we've seen in UFC over the past. So you can be a favourite heavily, but it doesn't matter. So very interesting to see what happens. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're slowly creeping closer to 1,000 subscribers. We're on 846. So any subscribers and all likes and all support is always appreciated. Turn notifications on so you don't miss when I go live or upload any other content in the future. And follow all my social media links in the description below. I'll be back probably tomorrow or the day after for the UFC 287 recap, and we'll find out plenty coming out of these fights. So until then, I'll catch you guys later. I'm out. Cheers.